What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at some news that we just got from China revolving around Bitcoin and crypto in general, because it's absolutely extremely good, especially with what we're seeing right now in that region. And so we're going to talk about that. But prior to that, we're going to get an update on what's happening in the general market, what's happening behind the scenes, and make sure that you're fully caught up on crypto. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into it. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade different cryptos, Bitcoin, Solana, and many more on up to 100x leverage without needing the KYC, meaning you don't give them any of your personal information, you can use that Margex link down in the description below. You are going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards when you do start trading with that link. And you can use multiple different forms of collateral, which comes in handy. So make sure you do check that out down below. Now, looking at the crypto market, of course, what we can see is that today has been rather rough. You know, a lot of the leaders from yesterday's video, you know, a lot of your memes such as Pepe, Bonk, and, you know, Whiff, etc., are now your losers of the day, right? We can see Pepe, Bonk, with Popcat, Doge, a lot of these meme coins leading the pullback towards the downside, and that is expected. In these moments in which we see that the market is being led upwards by memes, it'll be led downwards by memes. It's just normal. It's just what happens. You need to understand, if you're diving into the world of meme coins, you're gonna deal with this. You have no choice, okay? But overall, not a terrible day, right? We've seen worse days. Overall, the month is still green. Year is still green, obviously, but the last week, the last day, has just been a little red. Now, from a price perspective, what we can see is, yeah, again, not really too much is going on right now from a grand perspective of things. We did see a little bit of a pump yesterday, and it did seem as if we were going to get this beautiful move upwards, but I've told you all rather consistently, in moments like this where we are in the market right now, these things are going to happen. This is going to happen. You are going to have moments where people get liquidated. All that happened was this market was right here. It went upwards, liquidated all the people right here. Now it's right back where it was. If you don't think that there's any form of manipulation, any sort of anything going on right here, reassess. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Reassess. Things like this will happen, and that's why you shouldn't be going huge on leverage. You should be keeping it chill, especially in a moment like this, because things like this. And so as a result of this little pullback here, of course, we have seen the market kind of pulling back, but again, nothing too crazy. Now, from a crypto fear and greed perspective, we can see that we are currently sat right around a 49 zone. We were at 50 yesterday, so 49 today, all right? So rather neutral, not too much going on. Gladly, people are starting to recognize things. I think they're finally getting a little bit in tune with the fact that crazy shit like this is just going to happen, and they're finally starting to just calm down. They're not reacting too crazily to anything that's been happening. We not have any terrible news the last couple of days, not had any great news the last couple of days, so the market's just in a rather chill spot. But what I will say is that although people are being rather neutral from a sentiment perspective, over the last 24 hours, we have seen a lot of people shifting into a little bit more of a bearish direction. People are closing down their long trades. They're opening up their short trades. They're betting that this market is going to go downwards. And although it is very possible, you know, you look at something like your liquidation map. When you look at the one day, I mean, we have more liquidations that will happen if this market pushes upwards now. And so I wouldn't be too confident that this market's for sure going to start pulling back down to the downside. It might actually trick us, and it might start to work its way back upwards, especially now that people are betting that it's going to go down. So overall, the general market is in a rather neutral place, but people are betting it's going to go down. And oftentimes this market does the complete opposite of what people think it's going to do. From a grand scheme of things, I do think that it's a decent time to be buying if you really want to. You know, your 24-hour RSI is sitting right below that neutral zone. Your weekly RSI on average is sitting right below that neutral zone. So again, on average, it's a decent and okay time to be buying crypto, but definitely not the best if we're talking about from a fundamental or technical perspective. So overall, rather boring market whenever it comes to overall fundamental movements, technical movements, etc. People are getting liquidated like they do, but grand scheme of things, not a lot going on. But from a news perspective, boy, oh boy, we're getting some good news. So we just got some news about an hour and a half ago that said Hong Kong to approve more Bitcoin and crypto exchanges this year. China is getting prepared. Now you may wonder, well, why is that so important? Well, the reason why it's so important is obviously, one, the obvious thing, as I mentioned before, is just the fact that this is a major country that's opening up more opportunities for people to enter into the world of crypto. That alone is important, but it's a little bit more about what's happening in the region right now that excites me more, okay? Especially when you're talking about risk on assets. So what I'm kind of referring to is the fact that China's bank, this was roughly 2 weeks ago, China's bank came out and unveiled the most aggressive stimulus that they had done since the pandemic, and it was comparable to the pandemic. It was comparable to the pandemic. Now, we're not going to get too deep into what all of the different things in which they have done is. You can go ahead and feel free to check that out yourself. But one thing that they are doing is they are offering more opportunities for lower interest rates on existing mortgages. So say, for example, someone who owns a house at 7%, they're going in and telling these mortgage companies lower their rates, basically. Like, you don't really have much of a choice. And so people are going to be saving money that way. They're inducing more opportunities for companies to go in and borrow money to be able to invest into the stock market at lower rates as well. So it's kind of stimulating that as well and allowing people to be able to invest into their stock market, which intrinsically will add more value into the money of a lot of people, a lot of their rich people, but a lot of people in general. And so they're doing these types of things to inject their economy with liquidity and inject the economy with a little bit more excitement as well, right? Start having people go more in a risk on area. And of course, in moments like this where interest rates are coming down, in moments like this in which people have more money, typically risk on assets, aka crypto, will do better. Why? Because people have more money, they're going to put it somewhere. What you'll come to realize is, in every instance in the history of humanity, I would say, when people are given more money, they don't save more money on average, right? The ratio of the amount of money that they save typically stays the same. What they usually do is if you give people more money, they spend more money. That's the reason why you gave people stimulus checks back in 2020 and 2021. They spent it. They didn't keep it. Savings rates went up a little bit, but not a ton. Spending went up crazy. Why? Because people just spend money. It's what they do. And some people consider investing into crypto and stuff like that a form of spending. It gives them that same, it scratches that same itch, if that makes any sense. So because this is happening, although this isn't particularly in Hong Kong, because you have to remember, although Hong Kong is in China, Hong Kong has its own systems. So Hong Kong has roughly 7 million people, roughly. It might be a little higher than that now. And they operate kind of on their own, in their own way to some degree. So you have Hong Kong and then you have China. China is obviously more of a socialist country, and Hong Kong operates a little bit less in that degree. And so, of course, because of that, although this isn't particularly applicable to Hong Kong, it's clearly been affecting Hong Kong. What we can see here is that global stocks mostly rise, cheering Beijing stimulus. And this did include, of course, not only just Beijing, but this also included Hong Kong. Let me see if I can. Here we go. It said earlier, the Hong Kong and Shanghai stock markets finished the week more than 10% higher, with Shanghai seeing its strongest weekly gain since 2008. So clearly the stimulus is having an impact on Hong Kong itself. And so as a result of this, the fact that we are seeing all of that happening during a time in which Hong Kong is introducing more cryptocurrency exchanges and likely going to be bringing more on board, it's a perfect combination. You're in a massive country, right, with a lot of people who are very modern day, so they understand crypto, they understand how it works. They are getting more money to some degree, maybe not put in their pockets, but through other forms of stimulus, and they are going to have the ability to buy crypto. You see that brew that's happening there? Now, what happens in 2 years? I don't know. It could be ugly, right? Typically speaking, this amount of stimulus does lead to higher inflation. Higher inflation leads more people to have less money, right? Inflation only benefits governments at the end of the day. But I think that in the short term, there could be massive effects. And I think there could be massive benefits. And it wouldn't shock me at all for us to start to see a lot of more inflows happening in the world of crypto from Hong Kong and from that area. And so as a result of this, I think it's fantastic news. I think it's something that people are sleeping on. I have not seen enough people talking about it. And I do think it will have an impact. And so again, the fact that they're going to be doing this definitely tells me that there could be a lot of excitement coming from that area. Not only just from the major crypto perspective, but it wouldn't shock me to see more developments in terms of early on projects and stuff from Hong Kong and the Eastern Asia, China area as well. So of course, I'll keep you guys updated, but I really wanted to just focus today's video on this news because I do think it's extremely important and I do think it's going to play a major role. And so of course, if you do feel more caught up on crypto than you were before you started this video, all I do ask that you just like it so more people see it. It helps with the algorithm and all that good stuff. And do subscribe. I know some of you watch my vids every day and you're not subscribed. Feel free to subscribe if you want. If not, it's all good. I just appreciate you catching up with me here and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.